in Jessica Harrington's yard in Moon, County Kildare. It's a beautiful day and Jessie's in great form. She's going to show us around, see some of the exciting flat horses for the season ahead, so hope you enjoy the video.
Waterline, yep. Washerman, is he? Pivot sugar. That's First Gentleman. That's Curvature. Sierra Nevada. Right, that's that one. And then that one as Eternal Silence. What you got there, David?
On an Ocean Quest.
Ocean Quest.
I left the hood off her. She worked with Jessica. Morning.
Morning.
All right.
Villanova Queen, some big lady. She hasn't run since the Guineas last year. She runs in. That's Galileo Compass. That's full brother to not Rule of the World. The horse that won an Ascot. Changing the bar.
Nelda.
What?
Nelda.
Oh, Nelda, yeah.
Scarlett O'Hara.
I know that's Scarlett O'Hara.
Niska.
Faniska. And then Farsherman. What's the one in Dundee? Who are you working with, Nathan?
Ashton is following me.
Okay, who's else?
Some of these been away.
Some of them have, yeah. Good few of them. And they've done a lot around here. We were able to use the fields and the grass scallop here a lot.
More than normal.
Much more, much more. Yeah, that 14 is Mill Isle's full sister. And funny enough, she's stronger than Mill Isle, even though the mare was 3 years older. She was an old mare, and she had her. Right, showcasing, and you three go together. Nathan, you're not doing. Nathan, you go back to the indoor, will you? You three together. Just follow on up, okay? Which one, sorry? Big, came up the old yesterday, didn't they? Yeah, 1 and 1. 1 and 1. 1 and 1. They're all basically going 1 and 1. So will you go upsides round there? 1 and 1. All those 2-year-olds, unless you give me a reason they shouldn't do it, are all going to go 1 and 1. Because they all came up the old yesterday, didn't they? Grant. They can go 1 and 1.
So all your buckets are ready. This is just outside this long body, right?
I don't need that.
Some lucky people can get them.
That's the little study a man. I have 2 of them, and they both look not a pick of white on them. He really stamps them because that's what he looks like. There's their all. And that way. Nothing so far has been making nasty noises. That's a Caravaggio this side, belonging to All About the Girls. She's nice. This is Scarlett O'Hara. She's going to run very shortly. She's had 1 run last year, finished 5th or 6th in the game. Villanova Queen. It's just over the back of those line of trees there is Grange Con. Barronstown is there, and underneath see the trees on top of the hill, underneath that hill is Miles Cove's, all Miles Cove's children and everything, this little bit there. She looks super passing us.
Yeah.
She's in and coming out moving well.
Yeah.
Right. She is a monster, isn't that a monster? All right. He's sharp.
He wants faster.
Yeah.
Very good move.
How was that one?
Very good, very hot.
That's the Kodiak Lumi. Yeah, and then you're on the. She's.
Very happy. He's a lovely big horse. It's not very easy now.
He's a lovely big horse, isn't he? Proper Lupo de Vega. You can go back out, Shane. Much of a blow out of him? Good. Yeah. The Derby.
That's the one that...
That's the hardest race, because whatever Aidan has, I would love to win the Derby. I really would. I've hardly had very few runners in it, you know, but I'd love to win that. You know, look, we'd all love to win any classics, the Derby, St. Leger, any of those classics. I've really only, you know, I've won the 1,000 guineas, but that's the only one that I have won.
Have you had runners in the Derby before?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
You've had a few?
I've had a couple, yeah.
You might be lucky enough now to have the honours and maybe the pedigrees to actually land on one.
Well, let's hope so, yeah. That's what you know, you imagine with the pedigrees that, you know, I'm lucky enough to have, you know, that maybe I could get one that kicked. It would be brilliant.
Was it always an ambition to train a lot on the flat, or did it just kind of happen naturally?
I fell into it. Like most things in my life, I fell into it.
Noel Mead always says it's easier to keep the flat horses right than the two. Is that...
Yeah, what broke my heart with the jumpers is the injuries, and then you get them back from an injury, and just they're about to run, and wham, they get injured again. It's, you know, it's hard to keep those jumpers. You know, they're big. You try and keep them right. It's hard, but then you get ones like Moscow Flyer who never had any problem at all keeping sound. You know, it's just one of those things. I just found it heartbreaking. You know, when Sizing John, you know, he'd sound for the ear, and then he got one little thing, and then the next one. He didn't just have one injury after when he was having time off. He had 3 different injuries. One in the front, one on one front leg, one on one behind leg, and one on another hind leg. You know, when you have that, it just sort of kind of breaks your heart, and you can't, you that dread thing in the morning, go and have a look at this horse and you find a big leg, or it's standing doing that.
You see,
Sorry.
Even with ownership now, Jesse, like, owners seem to be almost edging towards the flat. It's more straightforward. You can run it Dundalk and so on.
Yeah, you know, I know it sounds crazy, but like the flat is very competitive over here. But I like that. It's the same as the jumping is very competitive. But I've always, actually, probably, you know, and anyone said, on the flat, how can you compete with Aidan O'Brien? But if you go in with that attitude, you're never going to get anywhere. That's my attitude. You go there to compete, to raise your game, to, you know, get the bars always higher. You've got to keep striving to get up to that top bar. And then you've got, you know, and look, I don't have that many jumpers now, but, you know, I always say to people, okay, you know, William Mullis, Gordon Elliott, Henry de Bromhead, they all have a lot of firepower. But instead of moaning about it and saying, poor me, I can't compete. You can compete if you know, strive to compete.
Have you had to change your training much with more flat horses, or is it
No,
pretty much the same?
they all do the same. You know, it's actually, you know, you'd work maybe the flat over a shorter distance. The jumpers would work over a bit of longer distance, but, you know, they all use the same gallops. I think what we have to do is we have to educate people that, you know, I think, you know, have open days, have people come down, see how these horses are treated. You know, thoroughbred racehorses have, in a way, a very privileged life. And on the whole, most of them have a very good after-racing life. But as in everything, including with human beings, there are a few that slip through the net. And unfortunately, those are the ones that get highlighted. But I think if you could explain to people that actually these horses are really well looked after, I think that's the main thing. Education, I think, is the main thing. Opening racing up to people concede. Try and not make it exclusive. Have all inclusive. If you go to the races, you're allowed to go everywhere, basically bar the parade ring and the stable yard. That you keep everybody together.
Say if 100 kids were here this morning from school, how many of them would enjoy it?
I'd say all of them. You know, some of them might just love being out in the fresh air instead of studying a book. Probably 50% of them.
They go all over the horse, a lot of them.
Yeah, they would, you know, but I think I think education is the main thing of people that say, look, this is the life those horses have. And it's, you know, unfortunately, it's always the minority that get the publicity. Because as you all know, good news doesn't sell newspapers.
Well, how did you feel when you seen the protesters before the race on Saturday?
They kind of knew it was going to happen. I thought they dealt with it very well. You know, they did show it on television, which is what the protesters wanted. But I suppose they had to show what was going on.
You've seen a lot of changes in the Grand National, obviously. Do you think anything else needs to change, or are you happy with the way it is at the moment?
I think they do a great job. I tell you, I had never walked the Grand National course until I had Magical Light was my first runner. And I walked the track that morning, and some of the fences hadn't been done up. They were still doing the fences up from the top on the day before. And basically, the Grand National fences are very, very safe now. You'd have to not really take off to fall over them, because they're just the frames of the Easy Fix chase fence, and that spruce is laid on the top, and you can, you know, it does slide with the horse. And I think they've got it as safe as they can. I think they've done a great job on all the fences in England and Ireland now. The steeplechase fences are not as tough as they used to be. And consequently, the horses still jump them very well, but we're not getting the folders that we're getting, which is good. It's very good.
Do you think the first two fences out was just an anomaly?
I think it was just maybe horses had been hanging around for too long. And you don't know how that affects, because, you know, they say horses don't have a brain, but they know. They go from the stable, they go to walking around, they get the saddle on them, they walk. They're usually used to walking 2-3 times, maybe 4 times around the parade ring. Suddenly they're walking around, and then they take out of the parade ring. I actually left my horse in the parade ring, walking. And they're taking some of them and then brought back in, and then finally they get on board, and they're all, you know, pent up energy. I think a lot of it wasn't, and I think Starter did a good job getting them away when he did, because there was a lot of pent up energy. I think horses were a little bit more fired up than usual.
How frustrating is it for you? So you've trained Lifetime Vision. I know he ran a cracker in the Tri-Town, obviously, and he ran well all season. You're obviously training him for that 10 minutes or whatever, and then something freak like that happens. It must be.
Well, it went. Look, it was like being a balloon being pricked. You're all there, and then, boing.
Yeah. And he had been enjoying it.
He'd been loving it. He'd been jumping too well, almost, and he went on jumping really well. You know, as a loose horse.
Will you go back again?
Oh yeah, next year. That's the plan.
Always play TJ. Always play for.
Yeah.
That's a big double.
That's what I'm thinking. You know, because he's a lovely horse to have.
Yeah, he's a great bit of stuff.
Oh, he is. He really is. He's, you know, consistent. Mr. Consistency, he should be called.
What's your ratio now flat to national top?
It would be 75-25.
This is a stupid question. Do you wish this happened earlier? You know what I mean?
We all wish things could happen earlier, yes.
He won a Gold Cup and a champion hurdle. He did all right.
And a few champion chases along the line.
We all have regrets about if I'd done this or I'd done that. Like,
Yeah.
So.
Listen, yes, of course, one has regrets. I have regrets, like in how I train some of the horses. Do you know what I mean? And I've trained some horses bad. You know, I made mistakes in where I put them, and you regret it. But no, look, life takes you on a journey. I don't show you take life on a journey.
Do you get the same kind of trail out of a Guineas as a Gold Cup?
Oh God, yeah. Shouting at the television. Yeah, no, you get. Look, I get a thrill out of any winner. The day that you get blasé and say, "Oh, it's only just a maiden," is the day you may give up. That's the way I look at it.
Is the attraction with the flat that it's truly international? You're taking on countries.
Yeah, and also there's it's the flat is worldwide. You can have a horse that runs here, runs in Australia, runs in Hong Kong, Singapore, you know, Japan, anywhere. And it is international, and that's what makes, to me, makes this exciting. And also in it, it's a worldwide market for selling as well, which I think is very important, because I think, you know, I know it's important to buy nice horses, but it's equally to say, you know, for owners to, you know, sell horses, make a business out of it. Yeah, I think she's going to run. Well, she's entered this week. She's going to run in Navan. Sorry, the committed. She most likely. We're also going to. We're just hanging on to look. She could run in something. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not sure whether the original plan was to run her over 7 furlongs in Leopardstown to see if she stayed, but the ground was too heavy. Without Leopardstown of the car, ground was too heavy, and so therefore we're now a little bit betwixt me. So she's going to run over 6.5 at Navan, and it'll be interesting to see how she gets on. And I know we're taking on then we've got the Palona Stakes. Isn't that the 3-year-old fillies only? Yeah, but that's nice, isn't it? Or Pork. I don't know. Anyway, but like, we're going to have to take it as it is. But she wants a bit of nice ground. She doesn't want heavy ground.
And Shane was telling us Full Discovery is only just ready to start off when he ran in the Guineas trial. So you're happy with? I'm
very happy with him. Yeah, he was, and he will either run in the next trial or goes direct to the Guineas, Irish Guineas.
That Car Shamar we saw there.
Car Shamar, yeah, he could end up. He'll run in at one of the trials somewhere around the place. If he has to go to England or whatever, he'll run in a trial, and then hopefully he might turn into a Guineas horse. And, he did it well the other night.
I think we saw Finisca this morning.
Finisca this morning, yep. She's in the Salsabil at the weekend, and so is Village Voice. Yeah. The two of them most likely will both run there.
So possibly Dream of them would be.
They will end up would end up hopefully being Oaks horses.
She's out of. One of yours,
Boca Bocciati, yeah. And Boca got a mile and a quarter because she won the race of the Curragh, the Group 2. Anyway, she won over a mile and a quarter. I'm not sure she ever stayed a mile and a half, but Finisca's by Galileo, so she should stay a mile and a half.
And Pivotal Trigger that ran in France last year.
Yeah, he ran a couple of times in France. I'm not sure where he's going, but he'll be going somewhere. He's in good old order.
Sounds of Heaven.
Sounds of Heaven. She won a maiden last year. I think it's turned out to be a good maiden. She goes for the fillies trial at Leopardstown.
And Saturn was the Alpha Centurio's asking.
Yeah, Satin. I'm not quite sure where she's going to go, but she's just coming back to herself. Again, both of those want a bit of nice ground, and that's why they haven't run yet. We're waiting for a bit of nice ground.
Lovely, and then just a couple of maidens, Danvers Gold, Galileo's Compass there.
Yeah.
Any of them kind of?
Yeah, Danvers Gold. She's a lovely filly. She just had the one run last year. She was third. Now she'll go for a maiden, but again, we're waiting for a bit of nicer ground. And the other one you asked me about was Sound. Compass. He didn't run at all last year. He's a nice horse. He's in Navan, I think, in a 1.5 mile race at the weekend. But he wants good ground, or goodish ground. He's a very low mover. Curvature is going to France for a listed race in France it's the beginning of May. She likes a dig in the ground, and we just thought the style of racing in France would suit her, because I'm not sure the lads here would let her off onto an easy lead again. She's a nice filly, but she's a very light-framed filly, and but she's got great heart.
Spreewell was your horse in the Derby.
Yeah.
He did it well at Naas.
Yeah, he could. He did it very well, and look, the form is working out, and I think he'll go for one of the trials. He's a nice horse. He's it's a straightforward horse. It's extraordinary. You'd never notice him in the string because he's just there. He doesn't make a song and dance about anything. She's out of a sister of Alpha Centauri. You remember she won a maiden last year, and then she didn't run so well. She started growing again, and she's in that funny conditions race at Cork on Friday.
You have her in the Oaks as well.
I do. I hope, and I think she will stay. She just seems to be a stayer. The Bear Trap, purely because I love the name.
Cody Bear.
He's Cody Bear, yeah. 2-year-old.
Cody Bears.
James seems to think he had a nice no nay never.
Yes, no nay never.
Is it with style? Is that it?
No nay never. Matter of Fact is one, and the other one is No Nay Never Incawood. What's its name? Because this is my with style. Is it with style?
Yeah.
Those are nice 2-year-olds. And then I've got some lovely Dubawi 2-year-olds, but you wouldn't be seeing them till the middle of the year.
Yeah.
You have the 3 2-year-olds there, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry. Bear's the Bear Trap?
The Bear Trap,
Yeah.
Matter of Fact, and With Style.
And then
At least 2 could apply to you. Matter of fact and with style.
I didn't know it. With style, yeah, with style. That no nay no. Those are, and they could be. And I tell you what, Glamorously which is owned by Glamour Girls, Mamas. That's a nice one. And I tell you, another nice 2-year-old is Jack Naylor's half sister.
Oh, yeah.
What a squeeze! There's some, and then there's a couple of very nice Frankels there. I don't know. And Frankel improve.
Vagabond.
Is that called Vagabond?
No, the one out of the Vagabond comic book. No.
Comic book. That's nice. That's very nice. And I tell you, as a nice filly, very well bred is. She hasn't got a name, a Kingman Starfish, which would be the half-sister to Asterdash. That's a good it's a very good family. You've got Earth, which is Alpha's one. She's if you thought Alpha was big, this one's as big as her. And I've also I have an unraced, I have Beyond the Steps, which is Lucky Vega's half-brother. He's unraced. He's a beautiful looking horse, 16-2. And then I have, actually very well, then I have Lucky Melody, which is a Phoenix of Spain, half-sister to Lucky Vega as well.
You have a lot of good stallions in, like.
I've got some lovely Galileos and I like those Study of Man. Both those they take after their stallion. He stamps them. And there's no reason, he won a French Derby, so there's no reason why he won't be a good stallion. You don't know.